alpha, beta, and stable feature sets from last week. So I figure this is probably going to be one of the final weeks, and actually probably next week too. Probably won't be much happening with KubeCon, but when we get back from KubeCon is going to be the next push. Starting that Monday is actually starting to ping a lot of these issue owners, making sure that we have some KKPRs that we can start tracking. And that's when we're going to know if things are really going to start slipping past the code freeze date. But for now, that's what we got.
Great, thanks, Kendrick. Any questions for enhancements? All right, if not, we can move on to CI Signal.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Now, to CI Signal, Kubernetes is healthy. Master blocking, there is, as far as I know, there's nothing bad on it. There are a couple of jobs flagged on master blocking, but nothing too serious. Some previous failures that are clearing up now. Master informing, it hasn't changed much since the last couple of weeks. Some of the persistent failures are due to conformance tests from vSphere and OpenStack. As far as I know, people are looking at them. Some work is being done there. Besides that, six scalability has had a couple issues, and that's causing one of the jobs to fail. But they are looking at it and doing some work. The only couple things that we need to look at is the GC new master grade cluster. A lot of the SIG storage jobs have been failing, and so we just need to look into them and see if they've been for what reason they've been failing. See which ones need to be labeled as flakes, but no persistent failures. The only persistent failure that we found so far is CI Kubernetes build, and we'll investigate that further. That one just appeared a couple days ago, and don't have much of a story there. But other than that, any questions, comments that you all have?
Doesn't sound like there are any questions for CI Signal. So then we can move on to bug triage. I don't think I see Nicholas, but if anyone on his team is on to give an update for bug triage.
I can do a quick update. Hey, I'm Tibikar, one of the shadows. So Nicholas built out a spreadsheet tracking pertinent issues that are related to this release, related to enhancements. We're just tracking and following those issues as we go through the week here. No real new reports for our team at this point. Still kind of in the waiting phase. That's it.
Cool. And we can move on to test infra.
Hey, we had a nice week. We had about 149 PRs merged this week, and total number of PRs merged from the beginning of the release is 652. We had no major issues. Brow is running fine except for a glitch on GitHub from the GitHub side, but everything is fine from Brow. Thanks, everyone. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Cool. We can move over to docs.
Hi, everyone. So on the side of docs, we don't have nothing much. The only thing we're doing right now is to ping people who own those those enhancements to start, to know if they need docs and update the sheets. So we're basically doing that right now. And for those who have those enhancements that need docs, we encourage them to start opening PR that are draft PR, so that you can start tracking them.
Cool. Any questions for docs? Okay, we can go over to release notes.
Hi there. So Lindsay updated the release notes draft for this week, which is available in the agenda. Then we moved the release notes repository to Kubernetes 6/release notes, and we will continue our development there. And we target version 1 for Kubernetes 1.15. And I just have to remind you that you can fill out our survey, which is also linked in the agenda. It's the same from the last week, and we will evaluate the results soon. And that's it from our side.
All right, any questions for release notes? Okay, we can go into comms. Okay. Cool. If there are no questions for comms, we can go over to release branch management.
So Chura is busy with her finals. I will speak for her. Tomorrow we are going to cut the beta 0. This time it will be done by me. So if you have any blockers, any comments, feel free to raise them. It will be a few hours earlier than before, I think, because I'm going to do it in my afternoon. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, Yang, if you have any problems or need any help with that branch cut, feel free to ping me on Slack. My hours should be much earlier than normal since I'm in England right now.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Any other questions for release branch management? All right. For Emeritus Lead, Josh is not able to be with us, but has no news to report. So if you have any questions for Josh, ping him on Slack. And then going into release lead update. So the next upcoming milestones that we have, as already mentioned, we have the 1.15.0 branch cut tomorrow and the beta 0 release tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we'll have the 1.15 jobs created and the 1.11 jobs will be removed. Next week is KubeCon. We have no major milestones during KubeCon, just because I assumed everyone who's there is going to want to enjoy their week and not have to worry about doing any major work. So everyone enjoy week 7. And then week 8, we're going to start burn down. Supposed to start on Monday, May 27th, but given Monday, May 27th is Memorial Day in the US, I'm kind of guessing attendance might be slim. So if we were to cancel the Monday first day of burn down and start burn down that Tuesday on the 28th, or I guess that would actually be the 29th because we're doing the Monday, Wednesday, Friday burn down. Does anyone see any major concerns with that? Yeah, I'm hearing nothing, so I'll probably also send an email to get lazy consensus from the release team. But I figure the change from Monday to Wednesday is not going to be much, and most of the US folks probably do not want to hop on a call either early morning or midday, late day if they're on holiday. So next week for KubeCon EU, we have a face-to-face session. If you're going to be there the Monday morning at 10 a.m., if you're going to be at the Contributor Summit, please stop by if you have the time. We're also likely going to do a team lunch one day. I think from the survey that Tuesday was the winner. Well, technically Wednesday was the winner, but it would conflict with the diversity lunch that I'm not sure if folks would rather attend the diversity lunch, so I'm going to try to punt it to Tuesday. I know that the conference provides food, so my suggestion for the lunch is we can get the conference provided food and then try to find a room. I have never been to a KubeCon, so someone tell me if that's an absolutely crazy idea and we should try to go off-site.
I think we used conference food in the last meetings, so it should be good.
All right. Then I might try to figure out if there's anyone around who can help me secure a meeting space for us. So TBD on where this lunch will be, but plan for it to be somewhere in the conference area.
So confirming that meeting stuff really quick, is that correct that Monday the 27th we're going to cancel and Burn Down will resume on the 29th? Is that right?
Yes. But let me update this. Yes. Cool. Thank you, George. That'd be awesome. So yeah, everyone get excited for KubeCon. Also, if you're from the US, be really excited because the exchange rate is particularly great to euros right now. I think it's like $1 US equals 1.2 euros. So if you are like me and like to go shopping in Europe, this is the prime time. Next item, the release retro doc. I haven't been talking about it too much in these meetings, but realize I should probably do just like a quick shout that if you have any feedback on this release process so far, make sure to drop that in the release retro doc that we have so we can make sure to talk about it at the end of the cycle. Good or bad, any changes you might want to propose for next cycle, feel free to capture them there. Retros are a super important process of any release, so we can all reflect on what's going well and what's not gone well and what we might want to change for 1.16. So please feel free to add things as they come up. Yeah. And lastly, an FYI, I'm going to be in EMEA for the next 2 weeks. I posted this in Slack as well, should be reachable, but just be mindful that like GMT evenings are usually midday PST. So if you notice me being slower to respond or responding the following day, that's probably why. We'll be back in New York after Memorial Weekend. So, but on the flip side, if you're in EMEA and need to reach me, feel free to bother me at a normal working hour for yourself. And yeah, that's all for my update. So if there's no questions for me, we can go into the release project board. All right, so last week when Stephen joined us, he'd mentioned he wants to, wow, I put the wrong link in. Sorry, everyone. Ignore that actual link. Let me dig up the right project board link from last week. Yeah, Stephen had mentioned he wanted the release team to start looking through the team project board to see what different items from this we could start checking off, or people could start helping to pick up. So if it would be helpful, I can share my screen. Would that be helpful for everyone? Okay. I just see a sign that says that you've started screen sharing, but there's nothing. There we go. Yeah, so looking through the project board, in the backlog, are there any items that folks of this group are already looking at or working on that they'd like to give updates on? I think I see something in the backlog area around revisit release tracking issues that has Hannes tagged on it.
Wait, what?
Is this something that you're working on, Hannes?
Which one now? Sorry.
Revisit release tracking issues, number 425.
Let me see, where is that?
I can drop a link to it in chat.
Let me see, tracking issue. Well, let me think what happened here. Parts of the thing have been done. Yeah, parts of this have been implemented. Other parts have not been implemented. I'm currently not actively working on that, but I think Cheryl is handling at least a couple of things, specifically about the mail sending. I will check with her and give an update on this issue.
Okay, sounds good. If you know if any of this needs to happen in the 115 release, let me know.
Yeah, well, it's the old story that part of the release stuff is still owned by Google, kinda, and we need to make or push everything into CNCF stuff, and by doing so, we can also think about the mail sending and all that business. So long story short, if it does not happen for 115, it's not a big deal. We will just rely on the Googler still and on the infrastructure there, but we should, of course, fix that.
Cool. I see one of these has my name on it that says all RT role handbooks should have participation info that I think Josh opened. So for all the leads who are on this call, let's make sure all of the role handbooks have information for what your role means if it doesn't already. I think I've seen a couple PRs going in to update some of them, so as needed, keep those coming.
So what's the difference between to-do and backlog here?
That's a great question for possibly Stephen that he's not on today, so I can try to forward that to him and get a better understanding of when these items can move through the little board here. Okay, any other updates on any of these items in this release project board that anyone is actively working on?
So we're working on the test infra handbook, but as the progress is made, I'll move them across columns.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if there are no other updates for people on this board, as a note, maybe possibly next week during KubeCon, we'll also look at it again. So a note to be prepared to possibly be asked about some of these cards. And if you have any questions around using this board, we can try to talk about it in this the hashtag SIGRelease Slack channel. Maybe get some information from Stephen, who I think created it, on using it. And if you see items on this board that particularly interest you, feel free to jump in and help where you have time or interest. Cool. Any questions from anyone on the call? Or anything else anyone wants to talk about today? All right, then I think I can give everyone almost 30 minutes of their Monday back. Bye, everyone.